What's up? It's William from Rocket Zero and welcome to another pixel art tutorial. In this pixel art tutorial, we're going to be going over how to build Eve from the movie WALL-E. Now, I got this pixel art from friendshipbracelet.net, so please go make sure to check them out. So what do we need for Eve? We need some gray wool, white wool, light gray wool, black wool, blue wool, and cyan wool. And we're going to begin with 5 blocks of our gray wool. So let's line up, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 5 white wools. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And replace gray wool, white wool, gray wool. Then right here we're going to place 2 white wools, followed by 2 gray wools. And then gray wool, or actually light gray wool. And then white, white, followed by 1, 2, 3 of our gray wool. Then we're going to place 7 light gray wools. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And next to it, another 7 gray wools. Then we're going to go to this side and we're going to place 2 gray wools, then 2 white wools, another 2 gray wools, and then we're going to go by 5 diagonal blocks that way. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to grab our white, then gray, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to place white wool, gray wool, then white wool goes here, and then next to it, we're going to place 6 gray wool. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. White wool goes here, then another 6 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to place 2 white, 2 gray here, then we're going to go all the way down here. We're going to place a white wool here. Actually, no. Where are we going to place it? We're going to take a step back. Let's see what we're doing. Okay, we're going to go right here. We're going to place a white wool here, and then we're going to place gray wool. Then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Here, white, and then we're going to place 5 gray wool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. White wool, 2 gray wools, 2 white wools, 2 gray wools again, then white wool, and we're going to do this weird shape. So 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to do the same shape but upside down. So 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2 of our gray wool. So make sure you guys have this so far. We're going to fill this part in with white later, probably at the end of the video. So this is what we should have so far. Make sure to pause it if you need to. Now what we're going to do is that right here, we're going to do 4 diagonal blocks going that way. So we're going to go 1 down from the top. We're going to place 1, then 2, 3, and 4. Afterwards, what we're going to do is that right here, we're going to place a gray wool, then 2 white, 2 gray, 2 gray. Then we're going to place 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to place 8 blocks going up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then here we're going to place a white wool and we're going to place 2 gray wools. Then a white. Then 2 gray wools. We're going to go back to this part. And right here, right by the 3, we're going to do 1, 2. And then 1, 2. Then 1 more block goes here. Then we're going to place white wool, gray, gray, white wool, gray, white wool, gray. So it's 3 diagonal blocks. Then right here we're going to place 2 gray wools, 2 gray wools, 2 gray wools again, and then this time it's going to be 3. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to place 2 white wools here and then 2 gray wools underneath, and we'll fill this part in later, probably at the end of the video when we do the other side. So this is what we should have so far. Make sure to pause it if you need to. Let me take a farther step back. Make sure your Eve is looking like this up to this point. So now what we're going to do is that right here in this little pocket, we're going to place a white, then a light gray, then 2 gray wools. We're going to place 4 white wools, below it 4 gray wools. Then we are going to place right next to it 8 white wools. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then 8 gray wools underneath. Now that side is fine when it matches up just right, because sometimes if you mess up one block, you're not going to be able to meet in the middle like that. So we're doing it right so far. That's awesome. So now we're going to go up here, and what's going to happen next is that we're going to grab our white wool and we're going to place 8 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 8 gray wools next to it. Right here we're going to place 2 gray wools. And then white, gray, white, gray, white, gray, so it's 3 diagonal blocks. Then we're going to place 2 white, 2 gray. Then here we're going to place 9 white wools. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 gray wools above. Then we're going to place 2 gray wools, 2 white, 2 gray. And we're going to place gray, gray. So there we go. That's pretty much the whole outline of Eve. That was pretty much the hardest part. So make sure you guys have this so far. All that we have left to do is to fill in the blocks and we'll be out of here. So it was a nice little tutorial. So now let's go back to the part of the face. What we're going to do is that we are going to grab our black wool. And we are going to place 2 blocks right here. So 1, 2. And then right here again, we're going to place 1, 2. We're going to grab our blue wool and replace 3 blocks. 1, 2, 3. Cyan wool. Then blue. Then 3 blue wools. 3 cyan wools. 3 blue wools. A blue wool. Cyan wool. And then we're going to place 1, 2. 1, 2, cyan, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna place 3 cyan wools here, 3 blue wools. This is really complicated, I know, but all we have to do is just put a couple more blocks and we'll be out of here. Make sure that's what her eyes are gonna look like. Once we have this, it's gonna be pretty simple from here on out. We're going to grab our black wool now, and right here we are going to place 2 blocks. And then we're going to place 3 black wools. And then we're just going to do this. We're going to go to this part, and we're going to place 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And 1. And this again. So make sure you guys have this funky looking snake. And then we're going to go to this side, and we're going to do 1, 2, and then up, and now we can connect this, guys, together like so. So make sure you guys have this so far. Pause it if you need to. I know this part's kind of complicated. Now we're gonna go to this side, and we're gonna place 1, 2, 3, then 1 down like this, and then we're gonna place 1, 2. Then we're going to take a step back, pause it if you need to. We're going to place 1 block here, and then we're going to place another 4. So, or actually 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to do this. 1, 2, 3. So make sure you guys have this so far. Pause it if you need to. Or actually, is that right? That might not be right. Let's go take a quick little peek over here. We're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just delete this. Let's go to this side. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is right. It just didn't look right. Now let's do this part. Let's count it to make sure it's 3. This part's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that was the problem. I went one block too far. But good thing we caught that mistake right away. So now let's just fill this part in. See, this is complicated. Sometimes you don't get it on the first try. You gotta go back and make sure all the blocks are where they are. Because if you mess up one block, it throws off the whole build. So it's not easy, even though it looks easy. Then we just gotta fill in the black wool for her eyes, because remember, Eve's job is just basically to go around looking for life, and Wally is just a trash compactor, and those two find love. So there we go, that's gonna be Eve's face. Now what we're going to do next is a bit complicated, so make sure you guys pay extra attention, because it's gonna involve putting out the gray wools where they are needed. So we're gonna do this arm first, because it's probably the easiest, so let's start with the easiest first, and then we'll save the hard for later. So we're gonna place one block there, and then right here we're gonna place white, then white wool here, and basically in every spot where you see gray, you're gonna put white wool. And then all that we have left to do is to grab our light gray wool, and we're gonna fill this part in. Too bad Pixar recently announced that they're not gonna make a sequel, like Beyond The Incredibles 2, so no WALL-E 2 in the near future, and that's sad, because I really enjoyed this movie. It was nice, it was a sweet little movie. And it looked really good, too. Alright, so now that we did that, what's going to happen next is that we're going to do the top of her face. We're going to go up here, we're going to grab our gray wool that we have in our little hand. And right here, we are going to place 6 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then here we're going to place 7. How many was that? I didn't count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then white wool goes here. We're going to place 2 white wools here. 2 white wools here. White all the way down. Then left down, down again. We're going to place 1 white wool there. And now the rest, we can grab our light gray wool and we're going to place 1, 2, 3. Now we just gotta fill this part in with our gray wool. So if you lost track, I'll make sure to take a step back in a second. Let me just finish this part, and I'll find a nice stopping point where you guys can hit pause and just copy what you see on your screen. This is very simple. All you gotta do is just put the gray blocks to give it some shading, so then it looks a little more like dimensional. So there we go. Now let's grab our white wool. We're gonna do this part. We're gonna go back to take the final view in a second. Let's just finish this up. Okay, so that's what her face should look like. Make sure to pause it if you need to. Let's go around here for 1 second. Just fill this part in. Now let's take a step back. Make sure you guys have this so far. That's gonna be what her face should look like. Just give it a little bit of shading to it so it pops out, looks more round. So that's pretty cool. I'm happy how it's starting out. Now we're going to do this part. This part's going to be a tad bit more complicated, so we got to pay attention. Because we're going to place 4 white diagonal wools. So there's our first one. Then our second. Then our third. Then our fourth. So after our 4 diagonal wools, we are going to place 2 gray wools, 2 white wools, then 3 gray wools, 3 white wools, and then here we are going to place our gray wool there, and we're just going to bring this white all the way to the left. Now everything above this line needs to be painted gray, so we're going to do that. So here should be 6 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I guess it's 7. And then we're just going to actually no, because it is 6, because we need to put a white wool there. Look at that. And then light gray wool. Oops, missed a block. Light gray wool. Light gray wool. There's really no place for me just to do certain parts and then speed up the rest, because all of these blocks have a specific spot where they need to go. So now that we did that, we're going to get to the fun part, and that's going to do the shading on the bottom, which is not going to be fun at all, but we're going to give it our best shot, and we'll see what we get. So we're going to go down here. we are gonna grab our gray wool and we're gonna place 4 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're gonna go up and to the left, then up and to the left and up, then up and to the left, then up. Now we're gonna go straight up here. We're gonna place 3 gray wools like so. Then we're gonna go down. Whoops, no, what am I doing? We're gonna go down. And then we are going to place just 2 blocks like so, like this. And then we're gonna go down by 3. 1, 2, 3, and then right, go down by 2, and there we go. That's how we do it. Make sure you guys have this so far. Let me just put a couple more gray wool blocks here so that it's easier to understand what you need to do. Then over here too. Okay. White wool goes here. Okay, so this is a part where we can actually speed this thing up. What we're going to do now is that you see that part's going to be painted light gray wool, and then this other sections are going to be painted white. But first, please make sure to have it looking like this so far, because if not, then we're going to have to go back and fix your mistakes. So, or our mistakes, since we're building this together, you know? Alright, so once again, make sure this is painted gray and then the 2 blocks are painted white. So I'm going to start with a white wool, then finish it off with a gray wool, and I'll be back in a second. So let's go do this. Okay, so we have finished with the white wool. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to place this part with our light gray wool and we'll be done with Eve. So make sure you guys have this up to this point. Now let's do the gray wool. So I'll be back in another second. Awesome, so we have finished building Eve. Now I really enjoyed this tutorial, mainly because I really liked the movie WALL-E. I thought it was really sweet. How this little girl and this little robot found love. Now talking about that little robot, I'll make sure to link him down below. So if you're interested in building him, I'll link it down below like I said. So this guy's really cool. There's certain blocks that stick up more than others just to give it some depth. I was really happy with this one. So I decided to build his companion, Eve. So there you go. This was William from Rocket Zero. Thank you so much for watching. I had a blast building this pixel art. If you did too, please make sure to hit that like button for us. Subscribe if you haven't. It really helps us out. Tell your friends. And as always, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.